Hi everybody, this is Kim with Kim's Vinyl Expressions. Today we're going to stitch out an in the hoop marble maze. This is for children, adults who are very fidgety, which is one of the reasons why they came out with the fidget spinner. This is a little different. It has, you see the white stitching, that's the actual maze on the design, and on the inside we put a marble, and for somebody that's fidgety can just sit here and, you know, play with it and move the marble around the maze, and the marble goes through very, very easily. It's a cute little design, very simple. It's only 3 steps, under 3,000 stitches. Very, very simple. So what you'll need for this design will be either a medium tearaway or cutaway, whichever one you prefer to use, because when you go to take your stabilizer out, you're actually going to leave part of the stabilizer right where the maze is, because it makes it easier to move the marble around. So you'll need a liner for the inside, which it doesn't matter what you use because you're not going to be able to see it. So if you have any scraps or anything like that, you can use it. And then you'll need a fabric for the top and for the back. So just 3 pieces of fabric and a marble and whatever stabilizer you want to use. And I did this one in the 6x10 hoop, and the finished size measured approximately, we're going to say 9.5 by 6. 9.5 by 6. So it's pretty decent size. And see, I can move that marble around in there. And, all right, so let's head on over to the machine and we'll get started. So I just wanted to show you the design is just 3 steps, a little under 3,000 stitches. And the first step, we'll just do the outline onto your stabilizer before you attach the fabric. Okay, so now that we got the outline done here, I'm going to go ahead and take your inside fabric and just lay it over the design like that. And then, let me see which piece I cut. That's not the right one. I cut a few pieces here so I can try to get it to line up the way I want it in the middle. I've had some Pac-Man fabric, very vintage, that I've had for a while. So I'm going to lay this on here. I'm trying to get this centered as best as I can. That's how I want to do it. And just feel for the outside line here. And I think it should be okay. Okay. So I'm going to pin these down. Sorry, I keep sniffling. I think I'm getting a cold. Okay. Let me just look at this from the back and make sure. Nope, not where I wanted it. I gotta take this out. Put this a little higher. The maze was outside of the lines. I'm trying to get it centered right. Let me look in the light. Okay, this should be good. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and pin that down. This may not be 100% straight, but for the purpose of the video, I'm just gonna use that All right, so now that we got it pinned down, we're going to take it back over to the machine, and then we're going to run the actual maze stitch, and I'll be right back when I'm done with that. Okay, so we have the maze stitched out here. I don't know if you can see it because of, well, you can see it now because of the white thread. I chose to use white. Excuse me. So the last step we're going to do is you're going to take whatever you want your back, your back fabric to be, and you're going to lay it face down on the design, and then you'll go ahead and just run the last stitch, which is going to be just all the way around. So I'll go ahead and do that and be right back. Okay, so now that we have this, the stitching out, you're gonna go ahead and remove it from the hoop. And then from here, you're going to take the stabilizer off only around the outside. You want to leave the stabilizer where the actual maze is. It makes it easier to move the marble around, and it doesn't make the design flop around. So we're just gonna tear that. And it's okay if you leave a little bit. If you can't get it all off, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so that's that. I'm leaving this stabilizer here. And then what I'm going to do is cut around the outline. You just want to leave a little seam allowance there because we're going to turn it inside out. Yep. Okay. What I try to do on designs that I have to turn right side out, I just do the corners like this. It just makes it easier for me to pop them out, but you don't have to do that. You just, you know, do it however works for you, but that just makes it easier for me. So at this time, you're going to go ahead and, I got to find what side it is. There's an opening right here, so you want to turn this right side out, if I can get in there to do it. And just be careful you don't tear any of the stitching. I used a really thin, this fabric is very, very thin, and I use this to make it easier to move the marble around and also turn it right side out. I always have problems turning things. I And I don't know why, but I always do. There we go. I try to get it started a little bit and then pull it through. There we go. Okay, I'll take my corners and pop those out. Okay, and this corner. Okay, so here is the design. I can get my corner out good there. Try and do that. Okay, that's good enough for me for video purposes. All right, so we have the design done now, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your marble and you're going to put it between the top layer and your middle layer, which is right here. And let's try and get it in there. I'm gonna do that. Let's see if I can get it in there. Okay, so I got the marble in there. You can move the marble around just like that. See? And mine's pretty easy. I left some wiggle room when I was sewing this up. So we got the marble in there. And what you're going to do, which I did not do, so I'm going to actually probably glue this. You want to leave, when you're cutting around the outside before you turn it right side out, you want to leave a little extra fabric where the opening is, because what you're going to do is you're going to tuck it in like that. And then you can sew it, or you can use fabric glue. So I'm actually going to use fabric glue on this to close this up. And that was my boo-boo. So I don't want to waste this, but so I'm just going to go ahead and tuck that in some. Oop. And this is the fabric glue I use. I use any fabric glue that I've ever used, name brand, non-name brand, it's worked perfectly fine. So there's no preference. You can, and like I said, you can sew it or you can just glue it up, and I'm gonna glue it. So what I usually do is I'll just tuck it in here and then take a little bit of fabric glue. Oop, not too much. I'll take my little dowel here and I'm just gonna spread it in there. And then I'll tuck that back in like so. And then just put a clip here, and this glue dries relatively easy, but that's how I do that. It's cute. I like it for children who have fidgety fingers, and this is different than a fidget spinner, but it's cute. Well, that's the design. So that was our design today for the marble maze. I'm going to let this dry, and it'll be ready to go as soon as it dries. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment on my video. I'll put a link in the description where you can get this design. And subscribe to my page. I have more videos coming. And I hope to see you soon. Have a good day.